Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dice Will Roll, the queerest Pathfinder podcast on the planet, where we ask the hard questions like, what's the difference between a regular worshipper and a cultist?
Social opinion.
Distance of time since the cult was established. Welcome, everyone, to a very special episode. Today, we are doing something a little bit different. Our dearest and most beloved Luna is away for a little while, and while she is off, the three of us boys are left behind unsupervised. And as such, today we are going to be bringing you something a little more queer than usual. And I don't mean queer in the gay way, I mean queer in the, well, isn't that just strange way? You can tell because I'm putting on a scary radio host voice.
I'm uncomfortable.
Today we have myself, Derry, as the game master, and we have two players joining us on a set of mini-adventures called The Dark Archive, which we'll be getting to shortly. We have Dave.
Hi.
And we have Ritz.
Hello.
And we shall be going on a globe-trotting adventure, solving the most strange cases that the world of Golarion has ever seen. So I want to ask, guys, shall we just hop right in? Shall we get started?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to start.
Okay. Well, everyone, let's get this show on the road. The camera dissolves into a building in the city of Absalom, the metropolis at the heart of the world. But this is no towering building, a feat of architecture that would go down in history as one of the most beautiful buildings ever. It is barely a building holding on to itself. A ramshackle office in the heart of the Puddles district, the poorest part of town, which was rocked by an earthquake years ago, and since then, every day has been flooded when high tide rolls in. A sign outside reads, T. Bleydre, Private Investigator. As rain falls and people make their way through the knee-high water of the puddles, shambling to and fro, making their way home from their day jobs, which makes them thankless pay, and making their way out to the night jobs, which makes them scant more. A figure very gently makes his way down through the flooded streets. He pauses and looks up at the private investigator's office with big, golden eyes. We cut inside now. The office is cluttered. On the walls we see newspaper clippings from a now defunct tabloid called Eyes of Absalom. There are discussions of a party of adventurers solving a great criminal case, what has now become known as the Radiant Festival Caper. In these newspaper clippings, there are illustrations of several adventurers, but one of them, a tiefling man with a tired expression and a dry smile, stands with a cane in his hand. Shuffling in front of the newspaper now, we see that same tiefling putting down another piece of investigation work in a very well-organized press. The night is slowly coming to an end, and this investigator will be taking it easy for the rest of the day. At least, that is what he believes. Elsewhere in the room, another man, a well-dressed, charming-looking man in his 30s, with some full moon spectacles, is helping clean up after a busy day of investigating. He looks up at the tiefling and says, Hey, do you need a cup of tea? Everything okay?
Yeah, I could do with a cup of tea.
All right, 1 cup of tea coming up.
Thank you.
This man, Torelli, shares this office with you. He isn't an investigator, but he's a novelist and often uses your work as inspiration. But Torelli here is more of an assistant to the great detective T. Bleydre, tiefling, detective, and hero of Absalom, who helped save the day during the events of what some people may know as the adventure of Agents of Edgewatch. Dave, can you tell me a little bit about T. Bleydre?
It had to happen someday. I had to make a tiefling someday.
Yep. we have to keep our reputation. We're queer and we have a tiefling. There. Everyone can go home now.
Bleydre is petite, like he's short and thin, and he looks pretty frail. He walks with a cane. He's blue and his hair is kind of like a bob. He pulls it back with a bow, and he wears like the plaid type of clothes that like an investigator might wear. He looks the part pretty well. He's got one of them tails. I'm not immune. He's 30. He's a grown man. And I made this character because I really wanted to make a character that I really wanted to play a character that I could play with the fact that I'm autistic.
Yeah, he's very autistic.
He speaks with a sort of like he speaks kind of monotone, because I just think that's fun for detective types, and his expression is always kind of muted.
I'd said as well that he was a character you made for Agents of Edgewatch, which
he did.
Me, Ritz, you, we all played to completion in a home game. He is not a level 20 hero at this point. He's taken a few years to kind of chill out after the most intensive cases of his life, where he fully quit ever working with law enforcers ever again, because fuck those guys. Holy shit.
Basically, after Agents of Edgewatch, he left the city guard, but he was, before the city guard, a private investigator, so he just started doing that again. He still works sort of with the city guard sometimes, but mostly he works with the he works with them like on an individual level, or he's working with the mudruckers.
Yeah, the mudruckers. They're a volunteer force in the puddles, yeah.
Yeah, the people that keep the puddles safe. But yeah.
He's always there for his community. As you're walking around and like there's all these newspaper clippings of your many accomplishments, you helped take down the Bloody Barber gang. You helped a gang of kobolds unionize. You've had quite a storied life, T. Bleydre. But alas, certainly, you're never going to have an adventure quite like that again, right?
Probably not? Question mark?
Torelli, the guy you share this office with, he kind of is coming to bring you that tea, and he puts it down beside you with a smile. But as he is standing up, suddenly there's a creak.
Bleydre immediately looks towards where the creak came from.
It's coming from the front door, which is terribly unusual because you had Torelli go make sure that the sign said that the building was closed. So who could that be?
Bleydre stands up. He walks with his cane, and he opens the door.
And what does he see on the other side?
On the other side of that door is maybe one of the tallest catfolk you've ever seen in your life. There is a approximately 6'3" catfolk with black hair, which is somewhat speckled with some like silverish strands. Not in the old way. This is not like an older catfolk. It just seems that his coat has some diversity of hairs. He wears very thick clothing. He's got a lot of... He doesn't look raggedy, but he sure wears a lot of layers. And he's got these big boots on that were probably thumping down the hallway that Bleydre's office is in.
He has a very impressive scar across his face too, doesn't he?
He does. He has a scar that goes kind of diagonal between his eyes, and that kind of loops around back over his nose a little bit. It's kind of Y-shaped. And he does, in fact, have these very large golden cat eyes.
Mm-hmm. Very piercing.
Oh, yes.
Bleydre, you have never seen this immense catfolk man in your life. You are nearly a full foot shorter than him as well.
That's extremely funny.
Bleydre, you're looking up at this catfolk man, and Torelli kind of comes over your shoulder and says, excuse me, sorry, we're closed right now? He's closed right now?
Is that so? Which one of you is Bleydre?
That would be me.
Yeah, and him.
I understand that you are closed, but this is of very much importance. If you would like to invite me in.
He raises an eyebrow and he's like, why not? Sure. And he steps out of the way.
Thank you, kind soul.
Should I be here? I'm hi, my name's Torelli. He offers you a hand.
Torelli! And he shakes his hand very firmly.
Oh, okay, hi. Do you need a cup of tea? I was making one for tea, Bleydre.
I would love one. Thank you.
He kind of scampers off, leaving the two of you alone in this office full of curios and newspaper clippings detailing the many detective adventures of Bleydre.
Bleydre closes the door, and he turns back, and he's like, "What can I do for you?"
Would you mind if we sit down?
Sure. He leads him to his desk, and he sits at one side, and he's like, "You can take a seat."
Thank you. He hunks on down on that seat, and as he does, he maybe not so gently places a large bag that he's been carrying at his side onto the table. It's not a purposeful slam, but it's just that there are a lot of things in this bag. It's very heavy looking, and it just clunks on down. And he kind of starts rummaging through it, all the while talking to Bleydre. Well, you see, I wanted to stop in, and thank God you are on the way. I have been looking for an investigator to help me. I am hoping that you may be of use, yes? And he pulls out a file. Is it a thick one, Derry, or is it just kind of like thin?
It's not just one file, it's several. It's a whole folio.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
It's a lot of stuff. Like, it's maybe like an encyclopedia worth of stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah, perfect. Then he takes out with two hands this massive pile of papers and folders, and sets that, if you can, next to his bag, in front of Bleydre.
Oh.
There are fascinating things in these papers that I have come to possess. And they have me curious, and I am not much of a mystery man.
Well, you have come to the right place. I don't actually know your name, though.
Oh, he like kind of smacks the side of his head. How rude of me. My name is Harrow-Reaver. And he sticks out his hand also for Bleydre to shake.
It's nice to meet you. And he holds out his hand. This time he's prepared for how hard he might shake.
Yeah, big fuzzy paw shakes him, and it maybe rattles the table a little bit.
It rattles Bleydre.
Yeah, you are a thaumaturge, right?
Yes.
The thaumaturge is a class which is the whole thing is folklore. Every creature has a weakness. Werewolves are weak to silver. Skeletons are weak to hammers, you know? But you are able to pull from the most obscure folklore and give anything a weakness. For example...
I think I'm weak to hammers, too.
And most people are weak to hammers.
They got skeletons in them.
Yeah. Specifically, what you are able to do is exploit vulnerability. which means you can use your charisma to force things to be true. You pull upon ancient customs and practices to enforce old folk stories. For example, did you know that if you turn around and twice before stabbing a goblin, it'll cause its blood to curdle? Did you know that? Most people don't, because it's probably not true. But you are able to pull upon these ancient stories to make it happen.
Yes.
Cool.
Torelli has come back and he's brought you a cup of tea. And I think he's trying not to eavesdrop, but he is obviously nearby eavesdropping.
Thank you.
Bleydre doesn't say anything.
Harrow does. Harrow leans over the table and is like, is that your secretary?
Yeah.
I sure heck did.
Apologies. Are you another investigator? Do you work together?
I'm actually a novelist. I'm working on my next book.
He helps me out.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Ah. You see the fantasy in things.
Yeah, I guess. I gotta admit, I'm a little curious about that big block of paper you've dropped on T. Bleydre's desk.
Well, if you'd like, you may leaf through it. I suppose I don't mind.
Bleydre, do you leaf through it?
Bleydre does open the file to, like, look through it idly.
This is some weird stuff, Bleydre. Like, you've seen a lot during your time, but this is talking about things that are strange, even by your standards. Mirrors and imposters. Cults. Curses and pacts. Temporal anomalies. All sorts of strange things which cannot be understood even in a world of magic.
Where did you find this?
Not important.
I'm gonna assume that means you didn't legally acquire this.
No.
I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that.
Is not a problem if I am paying you?
I still work with the guard. I'm just gonna pretend I didn't hear that.
Wonderful. I appreciate your tenacity.
Bleydre smiles kind of softly. He's leafing through it and he's like, what do you need help with me with? Are you trying to find these anomalies?
Well, not just that, but these, papers seem to have properties of their own.
Oh?
You see, since I came into possession of these files, I've been having very strange dreams. No, I don't think I'd classify them as nightmares, but certainly not the kind of dreams I usually have. Vivid. Extremely vivid is how I will describe them. I take dreams very seriously, and so when this started happening, I was maybe a little bit perturbed. So I would like to find out just exactly what I have here.
I suppose I could help you out. This is not my usual type of case, but it's interesting. I like interesting.
Harrow smiles. Well, I'm glad you think so. It is true, I did come to the right person. So you will help me?
Sure. I'll help you.
Bleydre, would you like to take out one of these files and read through it?
Sure.
Okay. You pull into the folio and you pull out a single case file specifically. The one you pull out is titled The Beast of Birchfrost. Strange creatures seem to come up most often at the fringes of society, where they can easily fade into the background, reads the note attached to the top of the case file in scrawled handwriting, letting you know that this is not just a book that has been stolen, but this is someone's personal notes. The town of Birchfrost, off the Lake of Mists and Veils, has a legend of a local creature, once responsible for protecting the town. If there is anything more to this so-called Beast of Birchfrost, I am sure that the slightest change in circumstance might herald a dangerous change in the beast, one that the archive would do well to mind. KHW, it is signed. And Bleydre, before you have the chance to kind of put together, like, all of that, what it means about a beast, who is this KHW who is signed? Something strange happens, which is never happened to you before, but recently, Harrow-Reaver, it has happened to you a lot. You start to undergo a strange sensation. Bleydre, the first thing you notice is your lower lip dropping a little bit, and suddenly your eyes are so heavy, you don't even think to fight it. When sleep comes for you, right where you sit, it is a comforting embrace, and you fall backwards, and continue to fall backwards, and there is nothing to catch you. No chair, no floor, no reality. You are pulled into a deep slumber as you float through an endless void, falling slowly, slowly, and it feels like the most natural thing you have ever done. It feels like falling asleep like this, traveling through the emptiness all around, infinitely black. It feels like what you were always meant to do. And then you wake up. Both of you stand beside each other in a place you have never been before. Cold air blows at your skin, but it is not raining like it was raining outside. In fact, the time of day seems a little different too. A few hours later in the night, it is no longer just the evening, it is definitely the night by now. Almost like you've changed time zones. You are standing in a small town. It's a nice town, but the buildings are not like those of Absalom. They are more Northern Europe in architecture versus the beautiful Byzantine structures of Absalom. There are people here. They are pale and blonde and tired. And on all sides of this town, there are the woods, tall, ancient, and impenetrable. And the fact that both of you are here very quickly confirms perhaps what, Harrow, you had suspected, that these are not simply just dreams. You have traveled across the world. And judging by the accents and the dialect that you hear passerbys who look at you strangely because they've never seen you in this town before, and they did not see you enter, you can tell that you are not in Absalom. You are in the nation of Brevoy, to the north of the River Kingdoms.
Oh, shit.
Oh my god.
What the hell do you guys do?
As soon as they both wake up standing here, Harrow looks at Bleydre and is like, probably should have told you that happens after you read, huh?
Yeah, that would have been useful.
Oops, well, we are here now, wherever this is.
Smashcode, back in Absalom. Torelli's like, huh?
We're in Brevoy.
Ah, that makes sense. So you understand why I am interested, yes?
Yep, that is weird. That is not normal. He sort of takes a step forward and he's like, are we... And he sort of pinches his skin.
No, that hurt.
I've tried that before, it did not work.
We're definitely here.
It at least feels like that, right? I can't really deny it now that you are here.
I'm pretty sure we're actually here. The people are reacting to us. And we seem to be in this a different time zone.
Incredibly strange. No book or paper has ever physically transported me. I guess the magic of reading is that you get transported wherever the story of the book takes you, but this is a little bit literal, is it not?
A little more literal than I'd expect. This is odd.
You were reading the Beast of Birchfrost one, yes?
Yep.
What was in it? I haven't really done much but skim that one.
And just as you asked that, Harrow, suddenly you hear noises. And it's the sound of a commotion outside a supply store down the way.
Oh.
A woman is limping from the trailhead. She is scarred. She seems to be a half-elf, wearing furs around her shoulder. Her hair is blonde and tied into a tight bun, and she's got a very stern-looking face. And she's walking down that road alone, which seems to have surprised a lot of people. As she drags herself into a rocking chair set outside her home, she begins to unwind the makeshift sling securing her arm. And you can hear already people talking as people on the street of this little town of Birchfrost start gossiping quickly and worriedly. Why is she alone? How can Tola come back by herself without the snarers? Unless... it is so. The beast must have gotten her. It is a miracle even she came back with only a broken arm.
Well, that seems like our first lead.
Sure does. Bleydre's writing things down in a notebook.
People are already looking at us. I think you would not mind if they would look at us some more. Because they will certainly be looking at us if we go talk to this woman.
People are always doing that. That's fine with me.
Fair enough. Shall we, Detective?
You can call me Bleydre.
Detective Bleydre?
That works too.
Wonderful. And Harrow starts making his way to that lady.
Bleydre heads over as well.
As soon as you start walking over, that lady, she looks up at you, and she kind of waves her hand and says, come around here. She presses her wounded arm gingerly. You seem sturdy enough, folks, with time on your hands. And you seem interested in me, at least.
Yes, are you alright?
Do I look alright?
No.
Then you have working eyes as well as working bodies, which is something I am lacking. Come, prepare. We are going into the woods.
Oh, hold on.
I don't want to leave my people out there with that beast and no backup.
That is fine and good and very respectable. But maybe you should sit down just a little bit and talk to us first.
It would be useful to know what's going on before we get ourselves into anything.
She looks at you. She can tell that you're both adventurers. Bleydre, you're dressed all strange. Then the big guy's fucking massive. Obviously you're adventurers. You know?
Yeah.
She takes out a canteen and wets her throat before kind of launching into a tale. It was a typical day of setting up traps to catch some beavers for their pelts with my crew. I work with twins just out of adolescence, Iri and Shay. Usually they have good heads about them. While myself and the other trappers were setting up our snares, it arrived. The beast.
Of Birchfrost.
She makes a strange face. You know of it, then?
I suppose I know a little bit, but please do refresh me.
It looked like a badger, but Iri was going on about a devil attacking her. It dug out from the ground and attacked us. And then moments after charging us, it vanished back underground. It had tusks and glowing white eyes, and when you looked at it, it was like when you roll your eyes back in their socket, that tingling pain you feel.
Strange.
I made the call to take the traps and leave. When I leaned over to collect them, it came back from behind. It attacked me. I fell on my arm, and I felt something in my wrist snap. By the time I had fought off the nausea and scrambled back to my feet, the others were fleeing. I was in no state to keep fighting, so I followed. We ran through the woods, and it chased us like a lion. I lost track of my allies. I thought that they would follow the game trails and head back to town, but evidently I got here and they didn't. They're capable in the woods, but that thing was a monster, and no monster I've ever seen. Do you know how old I am?
No.
I am 50 years old. I have been hunting since I was 15. I have seen everything that lives in the lands around. And never once have I seen something like that thing. I didn't believe the stories before today. The Birchfrost beast. But it must be real, because nothing else could have done what happened. I need your help. They are just children. You must help me find them.
I'll help you.
You say that fast, adventurer.
I don't like children getting hurt. Give me physical descriptions.
They are both tall enough. Twins. They are identical. Pale, black hair, blue eyes. They were wearing furs, like me.
Thank you. Where was the last time you saw them?
In the game trails in the woods. But I don't know where they could be now. Somewhere in there. She points from the direction she came from. I will come with you.
I insist that you stay here. You will be no use to them, passed out on the ground from pain.
I will take a healing potion. I will be fine. I will not go to bed without them.
Oh. He puts his hands up. How can I stop you?
I think she nods gratefully, and she kind of looks at the local clock tower of the church. It is 8 o'clock. If we take 1 hour, we can get in at 9. We can search till maybe midnight. Afterwards, we may need to return and come back in the morning, but if we do that, it's possible that the girls won't be alive.
Let us be quick, then.
Yes. I will handle getting the potions and all the supplies. If you need to know more about the beast, I would go to Lai. He is a net maker.
All right. Where can we find him?
He is the best at telling the stories. I stopped listening to it once I was taller than my dad's apron strings.
Fair.
So what do you guys do?
I guess we go find Lai.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You guys depart. How are you guys feeling right now?
It's a bit silly that Harrow's excited about this, but he just wants to know.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to know what the Beach of Birchfrost is all about.
He's curious, isn't he?
Of course, he'd like to save the kids too, but you know.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's also impressed at Bleydre's jump to action for the kids.
Bleydre is in I'm thinking mode. It's hard to get his attention. He's lost in thought right now.
Do you guys want to make me a diplomacy checks to see if you can ask around town and find this Lai guy and see what's going on?
Oh yes, my plus 12 diplomacy.
Oh wow! So you specifically are very good with your charisma. You, Bleydre, you are a investigator. You solve crimes and cases, and your thing that I'm going to bring up now is to pursue a lead.
Yeah.
I would like to assume that you are pursuing the lead of the Birchfrost beast, and you can basically spend 10 minutes to be like, this is the thing I'm investigating right now. And you will have a +1 to most skill checks to aid you in solving stuff about this, right?
Yeah.
The two of you start talking. You're both pretty good at it. But I think eventually you do find this Lai guy. They, their pronouns are they, them, canonically. Thank you, Paizo.
Slay.
You come to the door of this Lai, the net maker in town, and you give a knock, and a confused young person opens the door. And kind of peeking down the hallway from behind is a little girl, maybe 6 years old. And Lai says, you assume this is Lai, hello, can I help you both, gentlemen?
We would like to speak with Lai, if that is all right with you.
Speaking. How may I help?
Wonderful. We would like to know more about the Beast of Birchfrost.
Well, why don't you come with me then? Come in for a second. I know all about it.
All right.
You make your way inside. Bleydre, this little girl, who you find out her name is May, is very excited to have people come over. She immediately asks to play with you.
Bleydre indulges her for a little bit.
Lai starts to speak, though. So, years and years ago, the town of Birchfrost had a problem. We are a settlement that thrives off furs the trappers bring in and the wealth of local fishers. Our independence is hardened against outside influence because of it. However, this bounty depends on managing the local ecosystem. Without beavers to skin or whitefish to eat, Birchfrost would fall to the demands of Brevoy's unsteady rule. While generational knowledge provides a guide on how many snares to put out or nets to place, the land also supplies a protector. The Birchfrost Beast, as this protector is known, guards against greed. Local legend says that the Birchfrost Beast appeared a few decades ago when a man came to the town seeking fortune. He ignored the warnings of the town's residents to limit his fishing only to what he needed for subsistence. Instead, he casted out dozens of nets. In a single season, he brought in a catch equivalent to what an entire family would bring in over a decade. As he enriched his purse by packing the catch in caravans and selling it far away from the shore, the rest of the town grew angry. The town knew that he would leave with his boats once the lake was empty and the forests were bare. Those remaining in town after his departure would be left destitute and starving. And then he disappeared.
Oh.
Rumors abounded. One of the trappers killed the man and hid his body in the woods. The man fled in fear of such a plot, or he fell victim to a hex brought about by his own heedless greed. Seasons passed and the man's story faded to a cautionary tale, until the day his campsite was found 100 paces off a well-known path, torn apart by some clawed creature.
Oh.
Not long after the discovery, an unknown beast tore the snares from a poacher's trap. The matching claw marks at both sites led to the rumors of a guardian beast around the town. People here have mixed feelings about the creature. Some are grateful, some are fearful. And as the tales grow taller, so does the actual beast.
So, over time, it's gotten stronger?
And nobody knows why. It has not aged. It has not died.
Interesting.
Perhaps it's how much it's spoken of. The more you talk about it, the stronger it gets.
Try telling people not to talk about it.
That's fair.
You're alright.
I will say, this entire time May is pulling on your pants legs, Bleydre. You're like, come here, come here. She's like, wants to play more. She tells you that she wants to skip with you.
Bleydre turns to her and he's like, give me a moment, okay? I need to do a little work.
Well, please, just a little bit, detective, please. I can tell you about the beast, too.
What do you know about the beast?
I'll tell you if you skip with me.
I can handle hearing the rest of the story if you'd like to go play.
If I'd like to go play. You test me.
What?
You test me, Harrow.
Adults can play.
That's right. Play with me, please.
Okay. Was he gonna say no?
Bleydre, you play skipping with little May here.
He is really not good at skipping.
That's fine. But she does sing a song about the beast.
Oh, okay.
Walk through the forest, skip through the tree. Listen to the wings flap on the breeze. Touch a leaf, skip a beat, fall on your cheeks. Hunt in the birch frost, soon you'll be dead.
Interesting.
As you're playing the skipping game in the kitchen, Lai looks over and says, the song isn't right, dear. You don't, the birch frost beast only kills people who are bad. It doesn't hurt people who are just traveling through town. I said, yeah, but that's the story at the school now. That's what all my friends are singing. I guess it doesn't really matter if it's particularly accurate or not.
If one does not care about the accuracy of a tall tale, does that mean it gets taller?
I think it's at that point that you hear like a coughing outside, and you see Tola is standing in the in the street, kind of looking around for you all.
Harrow's kind of like looking out the window at her and calls to Bleydre and says, Mr. Detective Bleydre, I think it is time for us to take our leave.
Oh, give me a moment. I have to go, okay?
Are you gonna go fight the Birchfrost beast?
We're going to try and figure out what's going on.
You have to be careful. Milaria in my class says that the Birchfrost beast can breathe fire.
Fuck.
Well, I've fought some scary bad guys, and I've been okay through all of it. Don't worry about me, okay?
Okay. Good luck, detective.
Thank you.
And Lai says, yeah, good luck, adventurers.
Don't
Good
forget
luck.
to do your homework.
Oh.
Yeah, I think Bleydre, though, he turns to Lai and he's like, thank you for the information. Both of you.
Happy to help.
Thank you very much. As they're walking out, Harrow is like, how was your playdate?
All right. Is it out of your system?
Maybe a little bit. I
Oh.
cannot promise I won't tease you about it later.
I have a soft spot for children.
I can tell. Nothing wrong with that.
As you get outside, Tola is there, and she nods and says, you have the full story?
More or less. We have what we need.
This story keeps getting more intense. And it keeps changing.
I had always thought it was just wild animals being given this name. But what I saw today, that is no animal. Shall we?
Of course.
Of course.
So, you guys make your way to the trailhead and begin your search. To start, would you all like to make a survival check? You are moving here with this Tola. She is your guide. She is an NPC. She can fight, but most of her abilities are to help you. Because, I mean, you're not going to make her run into combat with a sword when she's got her fucking arm in a sling, right?
No.
She
Absolutely
literally
not.
snapped her wrist today.
Harrow is not letting that happen, no. Harrow also is just a +1 to survival, so...
I have a +3, so...
These city boys are gonna need our help.
Yeah, Bleydre is is extremely a city boy.
Harrow actually is from a countryside, yeah.
As you're walking, Harrow, you, I think, are just making a lot of noise. And Tola here keeps being, shush! Shush!
Sorry.
Bleydre, you are keeping an eye out.
Mm-hmm.
I think as you're moving, it is very quiet. You're, like, you have a torch, I think, and that's what's, like, maybe guiding you. Thankfully, both of you have eyes that see goodly in the dark. But I think after maybe an hour of walking through these woods and searching, you find some snares. And they are broken. These traps, which are meant for small animals, they have been crushed to pieces. Bleydre, you quickly kind of crouch and check it out, and you can tell that this was destroyed by a creature with claws.
He's scribbling in his notebook.
But Harrow, you find 2 sets of tracks.
Ah.
Humanoid footsteps.
He kind of taps on Tola's good shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of gestures to the footprints and says, might those be your twins?
I think she looks and says, well, it's that or the beast learned how to walk.
Wouldn't that be a story?
She looks at you with a dead face.
Ah, sorry.
Like she does not want to think about this right now, friend.
These snares were destroyed by something with claws.
That would be the beast, yes.
Then we've got tracks on both.
I think, Harrow, you also see, just on the edge of the way, disturbed ground. Kind of like a mole had dug through here, but 6 times bigger than a mole. Like, it's fucking massive.
Okay. I think Harrow gets a look at it and points to it while keeping eye contact with both Bleydre and Tola, and kind of walks towards it.
That is where it dug from.
Well, I'd like to see what's inside.
And I think he keeps his hand kind of steady on his bag as he goes to investigate it.
You kind of check, like, this disturbed earth.
Yeah.
Okay, you take a few seconds of digging, and Harrow, it's a tunnel. This thing dug a tunnel.
Huh.
Something massive was burying under the ground here.
Okay.
I suppose our priority are the girls, yes?
I don't want them to get hurt.
If we meet the beast along the way, it is incidental.
Okay. Well, that is good. The boots prints seem to be fairly clear. We can follow them easily.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I want you both to make me a survival check, please.
You're killing me.
Okay. So I'm going to start telling you guys that you're now going to have slowly consequences for rolling low.
Great.
These woods are inhabited. As you are following, Bleydre, you look out into the darkness, and for a second you swear you see movement. Is something there?
He pauses and he looks out into the darkness.
Do you want to make a perception check, or are you just like looking and then moving on?
Yeah, perception check, please.
Wrong answer.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Okay, yeah, you see something for a moment. It's just an animal. It's nothing. Looks like it was maybe a wild boar or something. Right?
Bleydre writes something down and keeps moving.
Tola looks over her shoulder at you and says, "Is everything alright?"
I just thought I saw something.
We'll keep moving.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, as you're walking, the footsteps come to a sudden stop at the base of a tree. They just end right there.
Harrow looks upwards.
And there, barely illuminated by the torch, you see the face of a woman staring down at you with wide eyes.
I think it just feels right. Harrow screams.
You do that, and immediately the girl like, "Shh!" And Tola fucking says, "What are you doing?"
I got scared. I'm sorry.
Scared of what?
I saw a face in the dark. Look.
And then you hear a noise, by the way. Echoing through the woods. You hear a... And Tola is like, "Why don't we go up the tree for a while?"
I would like to do that, yes.
Do you need a hand? Fuck my arm!
Don't.
You are the one who needs a hand. Come here, both of you.
Do you want to make a legs check to see if you can get them into the tree?
Yes. My athletics is not that high, but I'll still try.
Bleydre, while he's going up into the tree, is like, "Yeah, send the guy who walks with a cane up the tree, why don't you?"
I will pass it up to you.
That is a success. Harrow, you rolled a high enough roll to get them up.
Perfect. He climbs up that fucking tree.
And in the tree, there are 2 young women, identical, black hair, and scared out of their fucking minds.
Oh.
And one of them says, "Why did you scream?"
Well, why did you have face?
Why did you have a face?
Tola, as soon as she's up, she hugs the girls. "I'm very sorry for not being able to protect you." And says, "No, it's okay, Tola." And the other one says, "We are all right. We made it out okay. Well, we will. Right?"
You'll be fine. We'll take care of you.
Everything is going to be okay.
You didn't see it. Cool.
Oh. Certainly didn't.
As you're saying that, a noise. I've just rolled a private GM roll. Neither of you see it, but you hear a noise. The crunching of footsteps in the undergrowth. And it's gone.
Tola? No one else is on search duty, are they?
It is us, and that is it.
I am beginning to regret my curiosity.
Bleydre asks, "Are you injured?"
The two girls look at each other and say, "No, we're all right. I hurt my arm," says the left one, who you believe is Eerie. And the other one, Shay, says, "We're just scared. We've been camping in this tree ever since the monster attacked.
What happened?
It came out of the ground, and it got Tola. We thought she was dead, maybe." And then one of them says, It was horrible. It came out of the ground with furious snapping teeth like a crocodile." And then the other one says, "It had a tail that felled a sapling with its force. I didn't see it with crocodile teeth, though. I only saw the tail."
Bleydre is writing down information. Okay. It doesn't... So, you saw crocodile teeth, and you didn't?
Mm-hmm. Tola, looking particularly shaken, says, "It looked like a badger to me. I saw neither teeth nor tail."
Huh.
My theory right now is that it looks different to everybody.
Yes. It could be the case.
Based on what I'm hearing, it doesn't sound like anything else that I've seen. This is odd.
Quite. Is our plan for now to stay in this tree until sunup? I feel quite cozy up here.
Tola looks down and says, "And when the sun rises, what if it attacks someone else? What if they are not so lucky as us?"
Is it known to attack only during the night, day? Does it matter the time?
Nothing is known.
Okay.
This thing, we don't understand it.
I don't know that waiting and sitting here is a good idea. You two were smart to do this, because we found you. But I don't know that it would be a good idea if all of us stayed here all night.
You're right, we must be brave. Perhaps we can escort you as much as we can back. But if we do run into the creature, you three must escape. Yes?
Of course, yes. Absolutely, sir.
I believe Bleydre and I, or Detective Bleydre, excuse me,
You can
are
just call me Bleydre.
Mr. Detective Bleydre and I are very capable adventurers.
I've defeated some fairly dangerous people.
Then we
I have a weapon.
Then we head home, perhaps?
Yes.
Okay.
God damn it. Bleydre's looking down the train. He's like, "God damn it."
Harrow, shimmies down and helps people down.
Yeah. The girls are in perfect form, so they do help as well. And that's when at the bottom you see it. Right at the base of the tree, fresh in the mud, is a footprint.
What's it look like?
See, that's the worst part. You have no fucking idea. You've never seen something like this before.
Cool.
It is that of a beast, very obviously. And it has 5-toed hooves with claws.
Let us scurry on our way.
Well, hold on. Would you like to roll me... Harrow, you can roll me an esoteric lore check. Thaumaturges have a special lore check which uses their charisma, and they can, with your diverse lore feat, roll it on anything ever with a higher DC. You can know about absolutely anything, vaguely.
I love having a plus 12 to things.
Harrow, you've seen these footprints before, vaguely.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like the footprint of a boar.
I think he's definitely still scurrying them along, but as they start to walk, he says,
I believe I know what my version looks like.
Oh?
Or may look like. Not to alarm you, I had seen some very fresh tracks around where we have just left, and it seemed like a boar.
It was at the base of the tree, by the way, right beneath you all.
Oh, yeah. He's leaving out that specific detail. just as a little bit of a comfort.
A boar. Okay. He writes that down too.
Hey, Bleydre. Bleydre. You saw a boar earlier.
Periodically he just like scribbles in. He's not scribbling, but he's writing in his notebook. You don't always know why or what he's writing, but he writes a lot. Interesting.
You write everything down?
Anything can be evidence or clues.
Harrow is peeking over and is like, "Is there anything about me?"
That's classified.
He makes big eyes.
I wrote down that you're a very useful and helpful companion.
He smiles.
It's definitely not what he wrote down.
He's convinced that it is.
He doesn't let people see this notebook. But it probably says something along the lines of, really weird guy. Pretty smart, though. Just a really odd fellow.
Just a weird motherfucker.
That's what it's like. But Bleydre says, I thought I saw a boar earlier.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It could be an
Perhaps
actual
it is not
boar.
different for everyone then.
Are boars, native to this area? Or...
I think, Tola looks over her shoulder and says, yes, lots of boars. Why?
Oh, I just...
There's a boar over there. She points into the darkness. And there is indeed a boar off in the tree line.
Does it look a little fucked up?
It definitely does when it stands up. On its hind legs. And dashes into the darkness. With long, gangly, human-like arms and legs.
That was abnormal.
What was that? What? That was it. That was the creature.
It's okay.
Wait, sorry, back to Birchfrost.
Tola immediately starts moving as fast as she can. It's taunting us. It is following us.
I think Harrow is behind the group a little bit, so that nothing comes up from behind. Because I'm assuming that Tola is in the front.
Yeah, Tola is leading the charge.
Wonderful. Oh, what's that, Terry?
What was up?
I saw something on the map. I don't like that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right.
As you are hurrying as fast as you can, suddenly you come to a strange place.
Oh?
And it is not the town. In your hurry, you all got a little turned around. And you're standing at the Lake of Mists and Veils.
Shit.
The enormous lake, which is always clouded in fog, which this area is named after. And I'm afraid you have made some incorrect moves this adventure. If you had hunted the boar, if you had tried to find out what it was doing and stop it before it could, maybe you would have stood a chance. But you allowed it to herd you.
Mm.
And because of that, you have fallen right into its trap. There is another noise from the tree line behind you as you stand trapped. There's nowhere to go behind you, and there's a lake in front of you. The two girls hug each other, and Tola pulls out a short sword from her scabbard, looking around anxiously. And you hear that noise again. And then the sound of crashing underbrush. And then complete silence. Nothing emerges from the trees. It emerges from the ground beneath you. Roll initiative now.
Okay.
Dice will roll will return after these messages. Hey all, it's Derry. Hope you are enjoying this one shot. So if you listened to the update last week, Luna's kind of in a tough place right now, and she needs a little while to herself. In the meantime, we're gonna put out a few of these Dark Archive one-shots. There's like 8 of them. I don't know that we will do all 8. I don't even know if it'll be 3, 4, I don't know. But hopefully you guys really like Bleydre and Harrow. In future, we'll probably put out more of these little one-shots anytime that we have to miss a week. So, just be aware that that's something that is coming down the line. And I want to say thank you all very much for being around while this side adventure is going on. As soon as we're able to, we will be back with the last 2 episodes of Fists of the Ruby Phoenix, and they will be amazing. But until then, have a few episodes of spooky, supernatural goodness, and yeah, I'll let you guys get back to it. Just wanted to check in. Okay, see you guys very soon. Love you all lots, and as always, keep it rolling. We now return to Dice Will Roll.
Holy shit. 20. Not 20. 9.
20.
Okay. The encounter begins. And suddenly, rushing up at your feet, Harrow, is a creature. And as it comes forward, you see the tusks of an elephant in a flurry of, fur and hide, and that awful shrieking noise again. As it goes to gore you with its tusks. And that is a nat fucking 20.
Oh my god.
Okay.
So that is going to be 32 damage, Harrow.
Alright.
It is then going to turn its head and roar, and Bleydre, this horrific, it almost looks like a wild dog is emerging on you. And it strikes at you with its tusks.
Mm-hmm.
And that is going to be a 26 to hit.
That hits.
Okay. So that is going to be against you, Bleydre, a 10 damage.
Okay.
And this flurry of it, you can't even make it out is the problem. It's like a blur. You can see the white of its eyes, and you can see the snarl of its mouth, and massive tusks. But those are the only things you can see. You cannot pin it down in your eye. Looking at it, I want everyone at home right now to roll their eyes back as far as they can. And you feel that strange sensation when you do it. That's what it feels like to look at this thing. And it is now going to use a strange ability. It rushes off to the left, and your heads go to catch up with it, and it vanishes. It's gone. So when it disappears, it uses a hide roll, right? And he made a stealth check, and that stealth check is 26. Against all of your perception DCs, I believe that is a success, right? So its ability, vanishing escape. It strides and then hides, and it fades into the background. So right now, on a success, he is now hidden instead of observed. All creatures have to make a flat check to attack you. So, Bleydre, it is your turn now. If you want to hit this guy, you will need to make a flat check, okay?
Okay.
It is kind of rushing off into the background. It's getting very hard to see it. It's kind of blurring away into nothingness, but you can still see it. You have 3 actions. What do you do?
Bleydre is going to... It doesn't take an action to put a weapon away, correct?
Yeah, if you just drop a weapon, it's a free action.
Yeah, Bleydre's going to put the... I think he sort of sticks it into his boot, because he has tall boots.
Okay.
So that he can pick it up later without it being an issue. And he draws his bow.
Okay.
And then I think I'm going to can I devise a stratagem now, or do I need to roll?
Yes, you can devise a stratagem. When you devise a stratagem against a creature you are investigating, like you are, it is a free action. Otherwise, it is a single action. And what devise a stratagem does is it lets you roll a d20, and that will be, you can use that plus your intelligence modifier to attack. And if you choose not to use that, that means you don't have to miss your first attack, for example. So if you rolled a shit roll, you could be like, I'm just not going to attack him with that. I'm just not going to attack this turn. Okay?
I remember.
Also, when you devise a stratagem, you can recall knowledge.
Okay.
In this case, it would be a nature check or any other check that you can argue might work.
What about occultism? Because it seems really odd and weird and occult to me.
I'll allow it. I'll allow you to use occultism on this strange creature.
Yes. Here you go.
Okay. So, Bleydre, as you look at this thing, I think you start trying to figure out this beast, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you really look at it, it is definitely, at its core, a daedon. An ancient type of wild boar that it is essentially the boar equivalent of a dire wolf. Daedons are fucking massive and fucking scary.
Yeah.
That seems to be this thing's true form. But I will say, you do notice that something else is happening. This is not just a daedon. And the reason that you get a hint that maybe something strange is afoot is that as you stare at it and start narrowing your eyes trying to figure it out, the beast howls like it's been shot. And it is drained 1.
Oh. It doesn't want to be seen. Oh, too bad for it.
So when it is drained, it loses a chunk of its HP and it has a penalty to its fortitude saves and all con stuff. And Bleydre, that was a free action. Do you want to roll a d20 check and see if you can attack this thing?
I'd love to. So I just roll a d20 first?
Damn.
Oh, shit!
Yeah.
So, Bleydre, you just rolled a nat 20 on your devise a stratagem. What that means is your first attack roll will use a nat 20 plus your intelligence if you so choose. Do you choose to... How does this work? How do you devise a stratagem to perfectly get a crit on this horrible creature?
I think what happens is he's trying to figure it out, and when he figures out that it doesn't like being understood, not that he was scared before, but he wasn't really sure what to think about it. But now he gets it. Now he's just staring at it, letting it know that he knows. He knows. And he aims his bow right at it. He's trying to get it in the eye. I don't think he'll immediately kill it or anything, but that's what he's trying to do.
I think you do get it straight in the eye. You take a second and you line up the perfect shot, and Bleydre, an arrow shoots through the air into the Beast of Birchfrost. Roll me that damage, please. Oh god, it's a deadly weapon because it's a bow. Oh, this is gonna suck for it. Oh, 43 damage. Bleydre, you shoot its eye out for sure. It lets out another as it stumbles back in pain.
Bleydre, while he's doing that, like right after that, he says, "It doesn't like that I understand it." And how many actions do I have left? Any?
Hey, that was one action, man. Oh wait, no, it was 2 because you pulled out your bow as well.
I think with his last action, I think he's just gonna keep trying to like figure out if it has weaknesses or anything. If that's okay.
Okay. Make me another occultism check. The DC will be higher the second time you're doing this.
That's okay. I also have dubious knowledge for reference.
Mm-hmm, of course. Okay, so Bleydre, you get to use your dubious knowledge, which both of you have. What this means is that on a failed check, you get 1 piece of true information and 1 piece of false information. So, piece of information number 1. This thing is a cryptid. The type of cryptid it is where you're not sure. A cryptid is a type of creature which doesn't follow the normal rules of how a monster works. It works in ways that are strange and unknowable and completely... There's no way for you to figure it out. what you can tell about this particular kind of cryptid is it's either, by your deductions, either a primeval cryptid, a cryptid that has survived through the centuries and become stronger and more powerful and more dangerous. It's a Daedon. It's been alive for hundreds of years. This thing is a ancient monster that just won't die. Or it's a rumored cryptid, a cryptid that exists because people say it exists. That would make sense for like the idea of stories giving it new powers, maybe? That seems to be something that you had toyed with earlier with Harrow, the idea that saying stuff was making it true, and the fact that nothing seems to make sense with its appearance changing all the time, but you cannot tell if it is a primeval cryptid or a rumored cryptid. One of those is true, you don't know which.
Interesting.
And because you failed, you do not understand it properly. It does not become more drained.
That's okay.
It is Tola's turn. And Tola snarls a little bit, and she says, Mr. Reaver, it's I. Its eye has now been blinded by Detective Bleydre. That means that side of it's going to be more vulnerable. I'll distract it for you. And she is using guiding words for you.
Wonderful.
Guiding words. The guide and all allies that can see or hear the guide gain a +1 status bonus to attack and damage rolls against a creature until the beginning of the guide's next turn. The guide does an extra 1d6 precision damage to attack the creature in that time. So, all of you get this cool benefit.
Sick.
Tola is then going to rush to its good side with her turn. She's an elf, so she has a 30-foot move speed, and she dashes up to the creature, and she attacks it. That is a hit, 25. She slams into the side of the beast, roaring, says, I won't let you hurt those children! She snarls. And that is going to be 12 damage to this horrible creature. Next in the order is going to be you, Reaver. Harrow-Reaver. Oh, shit, that hurts. That thing hit you so hard. Oh, God. You literally were knocked from, like, full HP to being nearly on, like, a quarter HP in a single attack from this terrible monster.
Not the jolliest he's felt today. Could be a lot better. He wish he drank that tea before he fell asleep. Harrow is not going to let that get him down. Harrow is going to use an action to exploit vulnerability.
Okay, so to do this, you need to roll esoteric lore to see if you can understand what is this thing weak to.
Yes, so we'll do that. That is going to be an 18.
That is going to work for your exploit vulnerability. So,
sure.
With your exploit vulnerability, the way that this works...
I get to make it up, right?
Well, you can attempt to exploit vulnerabilities in one of two ways. Either invoking properties that repel that type of creature, so its actual weaknesses, and your weapons will start doing that type of damage. Or, if it doesn't have one, a personal instead of mortal weakness, which is the first one, or personal antithesis, or antithesis? How do you say that?
Antithesis.
Okay. Personal antithesis. Uh-oh.
Antithesis.
Okay. Personal antithesis. Oh my god.
It's okay, you can't say the.
Antithesis.
Antithesis.
Okay. Antithesis. Antithesis. Is that it?
Close enough, yeah.
Yeah. Personal antithesis. You improvise a custom weakness on a creature equal to 2 plus half your level, which would be 4 damage extra. This thing does not have any weaknesses. So, you get to make it up. How do you make it up?
He has a weakness to me. Boar monsters are famously weak to chopped up coriander.
Okay.
Little did you know.
So how does that work? Because I was expecting you to, like, pull out a magnifying glass and, like, hold it out to make it angry. But how does the coriander exactly distress the monster?
In old times...
Okay.
Whenever someone wanted to hunt a boar to eat...
Okay.
They did not want to waste any time. And so, while hunting the boar and killing the boar, they would season it in advance. And boars, famously being so smart, would smell these herbs in advance and know they were about to be hunted. So it strikes fear into the heart of any well-sized brain boar to see coriander specifically.
That ain't true, is it, Ritz?
No.
But it would be nice if it were true, and that's what the thaumaturge is all about. It works.
Wouldn't it be funny if that was the case?
Yeah. So
that's the class.
Fucked up if true. The class.
Literally. And then Harrow is going to run up to the boar and smack his ass. Not literally. Ass being the entire body.
Yeah, you're going to the blind side that Tola has opened up for you.
That's going to be an 18.
Okay, so here's the funny thing. Here's the really funny thing about this. 18 is a miss by 3. But it's flat-footed because you are flanking it with Tola.
Yeah.
So that reduces its AC by 2. Still a miss by 1. But Tola used guiding words on you.
That's true.
Which gives you a +1 to your attack roll. Meaning
that's true.
that is a hit. Roll me that damage, baby.
So hot.
What's the weapon you're attacking with?
It's a flail.
Woo!
Just something, that he has. That's going to be 18 damage.
Holy shit! Okay. 18 damage, and that is including your implement's empowerment, which is you are basically... You pull out your implement. What is your implement for me?
It's a wand.
Okay. Tell me about your wand. Every thaumaturge has a special linked item that they use. What does your wand represent about you?
Harrow's wand is kind of the magic equivalent to, like, macaroni art.
Okay.
It's just got a bunch of shit on it. Just, like, things that Harrow has found, through his experiences that he believes hold power. But that could be anything from, like, a pebble to, like, a strand of, like, string that he found on something that cast really nice spells. So it's kind of just like a mishmash of trinkets glued to some, like, nice ebony wood. It's got some dangly bits.
And as you are pulling it out, Harrow, when you approach with your flail, you kind of trace runes over your flail and empower your weapon before smacking. So this does extra damage. So, and that's on top of the fact that it's weak. So that is actually going to be 18 damage plus another 4 damage from exploit vulnerability.
Nice.
And this thing looks really badly hurt because that's 22 damage and it has 4 HP left.
Oh, baby.
And Harrow, is that going to be your turn?
Yes, it is. That's all you can do.
Okay. So what it's going to do now, in your face, Harrow, spikes are drawing out of its shoulders and it roars. And then it is going to charge into none of you, actually. Because what you see is it turns and with a... It dives into the woods and buries away. Like, it lunges into the ground and you see its claws, those awful claws, like giant spades. It launches into the ground and it starts digging away. And it seems to be headed very quickly in a specific direction. What the hell do you do?
Follow it. Bleydre's going to... Like, it looks like he's going in a direction that he knows, like he can tell.
Well, if you'd like to chase it, we could enter a chase.
Bleydre's gonna enter a chase. He's like, oh
okay.
Shit. He pulls out his cane from his boot.
Harrow, are you gonna chase it?
Yeah.
We're making up a chase on the fly. This is not in the book.
Okay.
Okay. So I've pulled out my chase deck and I randomly drew cards. And oh shit, this is frightening. You make your way through an unholy sight. As you are charging through the woods after this thing, suddenly you are making your way through a clearing. And in this clearing, there are like little handcrafted signs of witchcraft. And
Interesting.
There's bones hanging from the trees. What happened here? You don't know. That's not the point. You're chasing the thing. You need to make me either a religion check to push back the evil, or a will check to hold back the corruption.
I'm gonna hold back that corruption.
Okay.
I'll use religion.
Fuck. Alright, 12.
A 12 is going to be a fail. What that basically... Ooh.
Using hero point, thank you.
Yeah, Bleydre, you rolled a nat 1.
What the fuck?
Well, sometimes the dice really don't want you to succeed, Bleydre. That is 2 nat 1s in a row.
Okay.
So, what happens is, as you are pushing through here, I don't think this slows down your chase necessarily. I think, well, it slows you down a little bit. You're not, like, gaining on him. You need to get 4 successes on this to pass. And when you fail, I don't think you lose track of it. I think bad things start to happen to you. And I think both of you, as you're making your way through here, are going to take 1d6 mental damage as just a feeling of true evil passes over you. And it's going to be 6 damage to you, Harrow, and 12 damage to you, Bleydre.
Okay.
You're still going. You're going to need to get 4 checks total to pass this. That's the ad-lib chase I'm coming up with.
Okay.
The next one I'm going to pull is Forked Path. As you are dashing around, you come to like a bend, like a path in the tree that splits 2 ways, and the creature just goes underneath the tree. Like it gets past it. It completely bypasses this obstacle. You guys have to choose whether you go through the grassy and hilly area to the left, or through a tunnel-like area to the right. The tunnel looks to be a shortcut, but you might get lost. Meanwhile, the longer path might take a bit more energy out of you.
Could they split up?
You can. It's a fortitude to go to longer path and a survival to go to shorter path.
Okay.
I'm going through the fortitude. I have way better fortitude than I have survival.
Yeah, same, actually.
Okay, so you're both going to go the long way?
Yeah. My god. 14. I'm rolling so bad.
That actually does pass.
Wonderful, please.
And a 19, yeah, Bleydre, that is a pass as well. So that is going to get both of you 1 step out of 4 closer to this thing as you are chasing. Next one, you are going to come across a rushing waterway. As the water is spilling through this area, you see the Beast of Birchfrost leap out of the ground, and like a strange, it almost looks like it has wings for a moment. How does it have wings? That doesn't make sense. Like weird owl-like wings. And it lands on the other side before burying back underground. You guys either need to roll athletics to hop across stones, or a survival to ford or find survival to find a ford or crossing nearby.
Ooh, it's gonna be athletics.
Okay.
It's gonna remain survival.
Fucking 19.
That works. Yep, there we go. Harrow-Reaver, you hop across the stones in the river. Holy shit. Hey. Yeah, Bleydre, 21. You take a glance and you see that there's actually a really short part of the, really shallow part of the river nearby, and you are able to immediately ford that super easily and continue your chase.
Bleydre's very good at wading through water.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing he does, huh? That is 2 out of 4 to get to the beast. Next, you're gonna get to a steep slope. Oh dear.
Oh boy.
It seems to be headed up towards something. A cliff? That seems to be where it's going towards. A cliff? Make me an athletics check to climb across the steep slope, or a perception check to find an easier path.
I'll be using perception check. Thank you.
Perception.
Yeah. Fuck. Oh, shit.
Oh, okay.
Damn, bitch.
Bleydre just rolled a nat 20. Which is great because, Harrow, you failed that. You weren't doing great. You weren't sure where to go, and for a second you were, losing track of the beast. And then you feel a hand grasp around your wrist, and there is Bleydre pulling you closer. And with a nat 20, that ends the chase, because you catch it. You get 2 successes, and you are on the Beast of Birchfrost. As it gets into... you see it emerging from the ground, and stumble into a cave. It seems to be entering its lair, limping away. What the fuck do you guys do?
Lair of the beast?
Yep.
I'd like to drink a potion before we head in.
You have a few potions on you.
Give me some of that.
Sure, go ahead.
You're now standing in front of the cave. What do you do?
After downing that drink, Harrow looks a lot better. And he says,
Well, only one way to go. Into the cave, detective? Oh, Mr. Detective Bleydre.
Sure.
and Harrow keeps his weapon out, as well as his wand. Ah.
As you make your way into this natural cave, the first thing you see is quite frightening, to be honest. You find a fool's gallery. Sunbeams filter through the ivy curtain at the entrance of the cave, illuminating a grisly scene in soft lighting. Humanoid corpses, in varying states of decay, are laid out in haphazard positions. Over a dozen bodies are present among the sickly sweet stench of death. A passageway in the cave winds past the corpses into a deep shadow.
This is where it keeps its victims.
I'm feeling quite unsettled and uncomfortable in this environment, so please do forgive me if I scream.
Be careful. I suppose I forgot that not everybody's used to seeing dead bodies.
This is probably the most I have ever seen. I will be okay. I am a big, burly cat.
You're very helpful in a fight.
It's quite the compliment from someone of your skill. Thank you.
I haven't fought very much in a while.
No, but you have exploits, no?
Many, yeah.
I must say, before I entered your shop, I did not realize you were that famous, but upon witnessing you, I have connected the dots to some names I have seen in the papers.
Yeah. I don't usually advertise that. I know that I could get more business that way, but I don't really. I'd rather people come to me for me than my name.
Harrow-Reaver, would you like to make a quick perception check as you're making your way through this cave and you look at Bleydre?
Yeah.
Okay. You get the sense that even though Bleydre is evidently quite famous, and you're putting 2 + 2 together and realizing this is the Bleydre from the Radiant Festival caper.
Yeah.
It seems that he's not really the kind of person to want money necessarily. It seems he's genuinely in this to help people. And the reason he's still set up in the puddles, despite having all that money from essentially becoming a level 20 adventurer once upon a time, is because he only wants to help people. He wants to help real people with real problems, not rich bastards with boats load of money, you know?
I think Harrow is somewhat glad that he didn't extremely closely follow that story and isn't some kind of fan of those heroes. Specifically because I think he's happy to be a fan of this Bleydre that he's just met.
And that's when you see them. And I say them because as you turn a corner in the cave, you find out that there's not just one Beast of Birchfrost. There's 2 of them. And a baby. The Beast of Birchfrost is lied collapsing beside what appears to be its mate, who is groggily waking up and looking down at her injured partner. The baby, which is the size of a regular boar, is also getting up and hiding behind its mom. And the mate is now looking at you all a little startled. And if you fight it, they will kill you. They will come down on you. That's a lot of creatures.
Yeah.
But for a moment, they look stunned. And you maybe have an opening to try stop whatever is, like stop them from getting you. and maybe figure out what to do instead.
A family boar.
Huh.
Clock is ticking. They are like the it's just starting to flare her nostrils.
Harrow puts his hands up, and is not touching his weapons. And I think he even kind of bends his knees to make himself a bit smaller.
Would you like to roll me a nature check to see if you can make yourself pathetic enough to not attack and just start backing out of the cave?
Yeah. 19.
Okay. They don't immediately charge and stomp you to death. They look more like animals than you've ever seen them. They are blurry and it hurts to look at them. They've both got glowing white eyes. But now they look real. And Bleydre, I get to use my favorite feat that you have. That's odd. That's odd. When you enter a new location, such as a room or corridor, you can immediately notice one thing out of the ordinary. And Bleydre, that's odd.
Mm-hmm.
The baby boar is not blurry.
Huh.
Oh.
Would you like to quickly make me an occultism check, Bleydre?
I would love to.
Oh, shit. Yeah, okay. You definitely figured this one out, Bleydre, at last. They are definitely rumored cryptids. Meaning all of their abilities and their temperament and everything about them exists because people say so. And I think what makes you realize this is that the mate snorts and embers explode from her nose. And you remember that little girl May saying that a friend at school was saying that the boar could do that.
Oh my god.
Huh.
Anything you say about these things and becomes believed becomes true. And that has changed these regular animals into monsters. And it hasn't happened to the baby yet, but it will. The power of belief changed these things. Just like you, Harrow, used the power of belief to change others. What do you do?
This is just a family. And they're just being changed by the rumors.
Just as I thought.
Did you? Actually, yeah, you did. Hold on. I was being
fuck
snarky.
you.
Literally did. You originally, you called that out at the start.
Word for fucking word. I literally was talking about that to
You know what? Take a hero point.
Kill
You'll have it in the next session.
Thanks.
Perhaps we can let them know we are not going to hurt them anymore.
How do we do that?
They are starting to get a little cranky again. Your nature check worked for a while.
Bleydre raises his hand. He's holding on to his cane because he needs it to stand. But he just raises his hand. He's got no, weapon. Visible weapon in his hand. He's like, oh god, I'm so used to talking to people. We're not gonna hurt you? He's, sort of trying to, not cower, but I think he's trying to play up that he looks weak.
So here's the fun thing about a rumored cryptid. They're actually quite intelligent. I think they stop and they just kind of stare at you. And it's obvious they do not want you here.
We'll leave you alone, but you need to leave the people alone.
One of them snorts flames. The mate takes a step closer.
We are going to leave. But I will just let you know, you are creatures of intellect. I will be doing my best to speak to the people of Birchfrost.
And I think that Harrow actually takes one of the health potions that he did not drink. That fuck, what was her name? Talo?
Talo, yeah.
Yeah, that Talo gave him, and uncorks it and leaves it on the ground. He doesn't know if they could use that, but he starts backing up after he's set that down.
Mr. Detective Bleydre, perhaps we should back up.
Oh, yeah. He backs up a step.
You know what? I am actually genuinely quite shocked by that. And I think they watch you go and they do not charge And I think the mate, when you leave, picks up the bottle in her mouth and pours it onto the wounds of the beast of Birchfrost. You guys leave the fucking cave with,
we get out.
with that newfound and very strange knowledge. What the hell do you do? How are you going to solve all this? That's my question.
We need to tell the people that they're just animals.
Absolutely.
Oh.
We must find Tallow and then speak to the people.
We need to convince everybody that it's just an animal, because it is. And then they'll just be animals.
Exactly.
Are you trying to alter the creature's story?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No, I'll allow that. That's really clever. You're going to turn them back into regular boars by telling everyone they're just regular boars. And when the rumor spread, that's how it'll be.
You know what? It probably is best if Bleydre does tell them that they're normal boars, because if Harrow does it, he's gonna give them, like, sick wings or something.
It's a normal boar, but
It has these really long, cool wings that are feathered, and it has a really sick speed.
They shoot lasers from their eyes.
They've got guns for hands.
What kind of monster is he creating?
He doesn't think he's creating a monster. He would think that he's doing them like a favor.
You guys make your way back to the town of Birchfrost as dawn begins to crack. You see Tallow and the twins, Iri and Shay. And when they see you two emerging in one piece, the people of Birchfrost cheer for the two strange heroes who made their way into this town. Tallow listens, Bleydre, as you explain the truth of the Daedons. Because that's all they are, Daedons. That poacher that went missing ages ago, he simply got too close to the den of the creature, and it ate him. And all of everything else that's happened was just coincidence. Privately, you let her know that the true nature, she's not crazy, but it's best if the people think that there was no Beast of Birchfrost. Over time, that becomes true. There is no Beast of Birchfrost. But there is a family of two normal Daedons and their whelp, who seem to patrol the woods every once in a while, and there's a weird intellect in their eyes as they look at you. When the morning light comes, and the two of you put the Beast of Birchfrost file back into the folio, you see on the cover the writing of these case files. Cryptids, secret societies, deviant abilities, mirror duplicates, curses, cults, and pacts. Every topic presents enough questions to fill a library, and each mystery I was unable to solve. I know there must be something more behind them. Signed, KHW. And with that, you wake up. You're at the desk in the office of T. Bleydre, private investigator. As soon as you two stand up and start stretching and catching yourselves, you hear a, huh? And coming from upstairs, or coming from the hallway, is Torelli. And he looks at you both with wide eyes and says, what the hell was that? You two just vanished.
Oh, is that what happens? We do not stay here?
No, you were there and then you weren't. What was that?
The papers teleported us to Brevoy. In the north. Yeah.
You're going to have to tell me.
Do not worry your head too much about it.
I stayed up all night. I was so worried.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Thank you, Mr. Harrow. Should I believe that you'll be back? I assume you didn't solve all of those mysteries.
No, just one.
Harrow smiles, and I think that he turns to Bleydre and he says,
I suppose that is up to you if I am to come back. What do you say?
You've piqued my interest.
Wonderful. And I suppose we will be picking up where he left off.
and he taps on one of the folios.
KHW. He might have not have solved it, but you certainly will. Harrow-Reaver, you make your way back to the inn you're staying in, maybe?
Yeah.
Get ready to sleep a full night's sleep without being whisked away in your dreams. And Bleydre, as you watch Harrow-Reaver leave, Torelli kind of puts a hand on your shoulder and kind of hugs you from the side and says, "It's never a dull moment with you,
I don't think that's possible for me.
That's why I married you, honey." And Torelli, your husband, the other Bleydre, gives you a goodnight kiss and leads you to bed, because that was an exciting night indeed for all of you. But by far it shall be the least exciting of those that are to come. Temporal loops, paintings of strange ladies, smiling figures with terrible secrets, and the man in Harrow-Reaver's dreams. All of these await you as we continue to plunge deeper into the tale of the Dark Archives. This episode of Dice Will Roll would not have been possible without the support of our patrons. Kyle Damon, Maxine Mainstream, Soul Grease Lobo, Nick Roberts, Phoebe Jeebies, Daisy Gilliam, Lux Rexus, Better Than Stormcrow, Sam Stryker, Tony Saunders, Mita, Arave, Varia and the Girls, GP Dora, Marshmallowberry, Ferric Falcon, Luis Loza, Aries, Alexander Criswell, May Cohen, Skyly, Kendra West, Genuinely Tricked, Transgirl Trish, Bal Punyon, Giant a Catman, Matthew Wilson Krasnovich, Tillin Shark, Glitch HD, Jace Snooks, Zenith Drums, Jonathan Love, Sophia Varlera, G. Barbera, Luke, Gideon, Sarah B., Seth, Ravona Darkglow, Kira, Lichalope, Gizmo, Taliesin, Cass, Fable McElduff, Ava, Rem T. Bright, Lonesome Chunk, Steph, Sean C., Natasha Lee Lumley, Rhiannon C., Ellie, Jenna Mitchell, Kane Kendrick, Sky Evangeline, Triceratops, Anna Maria, Jordan, Emlyn Aderna, John the Bookholder, SS66 Seeker, and Dame Valerie III. If you'd like to see what you can get for helping us keep it rolling, check out patreon.com/dicewillroll today.